Fred and George. George and Fred. Twins, brothers, best friends, partners in comedic crime. The Weasley brothers are two of the most beloved characters throughout the books and really did gain a huge fan base. With Fred's tragic death in the Deathly Hallows, it took a big toll on the Weasley family, both parents and each sibling dealing with their own grief. George's battle with his brother's loss was a whole different story. How did he deal with Fred's death? It's important to understand just how close the brothers were. They were twins, best friends, spent every day together. They were practically inseparable. The bond between them was so strong that neither of them imagined life without each other. They acted as a unit instead of individually. It's not uncommon for twins to display such behaviour. There are countless stories about twins who even lived together into their twilight years, or who simply couldn't bear to be situated too far from their sibling if they did indeed live separately. Fred and George appeared to have such a connection that it was if they knew exactly what the other was thinking, and in some cases they may have displayed that ability. The boys basically created their own world, and it really speaks for them as every important decision they made was made as a team. They made it together. They joined a Quidditch team together. They stole the Marauders map together. They decided to go into business together. They even quit their schooling education together. And they even enjoyed tormenting Ron, as a team, together. The interesting thing with Fred and George is that they both gave each other assurance. One brother's doubt was quashed by the other's confidence, and vice versa. It was a level of support they both thrived on. George could suggest a missing piece to Fred's latest idea, for example. And I believe it's why their business was so successful early on. Even Harry Potter could see just how sharp-minded they both were and happily invested in their would-be joke shop. With Fred's death, unfortunately, George just didn't lose a brother or a best friend. He felt like he'd lost his entire future and would have to create a new one. Can you imagine just how difficult it must be to be so sure of the life you wanted to live, so determined of the goals you have set, and actually see the future ahead on the path you set for yourself? All for it to be thrown into the air, leaving you feeling completely lost. Now I know you'll say, but wait, George didn't lose his future. He ran the joke shop, and it was a huge success. He got married, he had kids, he lived a pretty great life. His future wasn't ruined. Well, it's very difficult living the life you've always wanted to live without the person you planned it all with. It's as if there's a shadow over your happiness, and sadly, that's what happened with George Weasley. He never truly got over Fred's death. He lost part of himself. And I know that sounds like somewhat of a cliche, but when it comes to twins, identical twins especially, it's a really different type of pain. And from my own research, I've even found stories of one twin feeling the exact moment their counterpart died. So I really tried to understand J.K. Rowling's words when she said George was never the same. With George being the quieter one of the two, Fred's spontaneity certainly influenced his brother's behaviour. They created so many happy memories and shared experiences that this is where George struggled to move forward from after losing his brother. All of his happy times, successful endeavours, humorous moments all reminded him of Fred. He almost felt an underlying guilt if he experienced happiness, as his brother wasn't there to experience it with him. It's why George struggled to produce a Patronus afterward. He could locate the happy memory within him, but he couldn't hold on to the positivity from it, as Fred came into his mind each time and made him sad. His life was tainted with Fred's loss. His wedding day must have been truly beautiful, marrying the woman he loved, yet he couldn't have his twin as his best man. Or when he and Angelina had their first child, whom they named Fred in his honour, yet the child was never able to meet the man he was named after. Or watching his children leave for Hogwarts on the Hogwarts Express for the very first time, something Fred would never do, nor even witness. I truly believe that out of all the sad losses throughout the Harry Potter story, George was someone who never really recovered. He never got over Fred's death, and it hung over him for the rest of his life. Although the Horcrux is severely dark magic, I believe it's actually an accurate reference. They are like each other's Horcruxes, Part of one lives through the other. And that is all for today's video, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel if it is your first time watching. And if you're a fan of the channel and feel like you'd like to contribute, my restructured Patreon account is up and running, and in exchange for your contribution of a minimum of $1 a month, there are many rewards you can receive, like suggesting one of my upcoming videos, exclusive Patreon only videos for you to watch, and even one-to-one Skype calls where we can hang out and talk everything Harry Potter or anything in general. So please make sure to check out some of my other videos on the left hand side of the screen. My second channel, Game of Thrones Lore, is on the right hand side of the screen. And if you want to check out some merch, I've got a merch store on the bottom right, or you can click the link in the description below. Thanks again everyone, and I hope you all have a great day.